all right. It's Brandon B. Dixon, and we got my guest host Steven Contreras here.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
We're live on YouTube and Facebook here for the Power of Ownership podcast. So let's go ahead and let them give a few seconds to let people come in. We're not gonna rush it in, like we normally do. We give people a few seconds. When y'all come in the room, man, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the share button. If you like our content, if you're normal or regular, should I say, and like our content, go ahead and share it on your wall. Share it to a friend. Um, I know a lot of our audio audience has been word of mouth. I see, so a lot of people listen to us, but we need to get our visual up. So go ahead and like and share as y'all come into the room. Got a quick show for y'all this afternoon, this week. Not gonna keep y'all too long. Quick, powerful message, and then we're gonna go to the next. I'm going to be bringing back my vlogs, the 8. So to give y'all a little daily dose. So that's coming soon. I'm starting the workload starting to lighten up. Plus, I got another assistant that's about to start here in a couple of weeks. So I'm gonna be able to start getting y'all the fresh content like I normally should. I've just been so inundated with work. It's been crazy, so which is a good thing. So I need to stay busy, but I got to get my content out as well. So let's go ahead and start it off, man. Let's go ahead and start it off. As y'all come in, y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. We're gonna say periodically, hit the like button. All right, so let's remove this banner here. Let's get the show going. Let's get the show going, man.
Yeah,
All right, so
go on.
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the housing market's pretty intense right now.
Yeah, we've been super duper swamped. We're fortunate to be one of the industries that has the opposite effect. Everybody's trying to with the record lows. It's been record lows. I've been getting people I know we're not supposed to say rates, it triggers something, but been getting people in the low, 2s and 3s. It's been crazy, so it is what it is, man. And people are taking advantage of that. That's the time to do it. When the market is down, this is the time you buy. This is the time you panic and save. Panic and save, or you're going to be, hurting on the outer end. I stretched everything I got. I put in the market now. So as things come back, then you'll see the growth next year. As things come back to normal, or the new normal.
Mm-hmm.
This is how champions are made. This is how millionaires and billionaires are made. So which side are you going to be on once this, it's all boils over, so hit the like button when y'all come in. Hit the like button when y'all come in. We're about to start the show, so button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, so let's go ahead and introduce myself. Introduce yourself, Steve, and then let's go ahead and start the show. Again, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a published author, serial entrepreneur, mortgage broker. My book, as you can see in the back there, Sales the Nucleus of Any Profession, is out right now. It's on Amazon. It's Google Dixon BEE, and you'll find it. It's perfect for right now. As far as what's going on, you're going to have to get into an industry where you're going to have to have a small business. You're going to have multiple streams of income, and you're going to have to learn how to sell. You're going to have to learn how to upsell. You're going to have to learn how to get that money, because what happens is a lot of businesses that you thought like burger flipping is going to be gone. There's a robotic burger flipper now. So, if you're a cashier, there's kiosk machines that's going to be going out. So you're going to have to get skilled. And one of the best skills that's not going anywhere is sales, because everybody desires that human interaction, and they want to have a human assurance that they're making the right purchase. So high-end sales are not going anywhere. So you need to learn how to sell. My website, www.hocmortgage.com. Now's the best time, the very best time if any, is to buy a house. If your credit's right, if it doesn't have to be excellent. I was talking to a friend yesterday. He thinking his credit has to be excellent. It doesn't. Give me a 620 and I can work with you. So contact me. www.hscmortgage.com. Fill out for actual mortgage and stop renting, stop throwing money away and invest in yourself. Now the records are the rates are super low. You're able to get more house, so than that you would have back in the days. www.billionaireloanofficer.com. If you want to book me for sales training, mentorship, consultation, anything, www.billionaireloanofficer.com. You can call me 832-775-8357. I'm available at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. So you can give me a call there. Steve, go ahead and go in. Here's your...
Hey guys, Steven Contreras here. I'm a geologist in Houston, Texas, kind of like a Renaissance man, studier of the arts and sciences, trying to help the world become a better place, trying to move and help people learn and educate and all that kind of stuff. You can find me on Facebook at Steven Contreras. Send me a DM so I know to add you if you are from the show. Also on Instagram, Steven_Contreras_90. And again, try to spread peace and love everywhere we go. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Cash App, Steven C1234.
Right. And if you like the show, you like what we're doing, you want to see us get more heavily produced, go to the Power of Ownership Cash App, the Power of Ownership, $, the Power of Ownership. So let's go ahead and start the show off, for this week. This is what I was thinking about. Let's go ahead and start it off. And I was talking to a high school friend, right? This weekend, Friday actually. And he was kind of reflecting like how on like my path and how different I was and how much a leader I was 20 years ago in high school, 20 plus years ago in high school, like, not afraid to be different, not afraid to stick out, not afraid to be, on my own path and stand on my own too. And he mentioned one thing that I never really talk about, be observed about me, and I thought was interesting, and it kind of goes along with a couple of things that I want to talk about today. But he told me that, yeah, man, you don't have to say it with words, but one thing I capture from you is that, you're not afraid to cut the fat. You're not afraid to go not talk to anybody that's not on the same path, you're not on the same vibration, and continue on with your journey without missing a beat, so so he's like, yeah, you're not afraid to cut the fat and keep the meat, basically was his synopsis of me. So I thought about it. It's a great topic that we could talk about, is that a lot of people are afraid to cut the fat in their life, to cut and we could go a couple of different ways. Fat meaning that excess BS in their life. They think they have to party. They think that because I'm in a certain age bracket, I have to party. I have to go along with the crowd and hang out. I have to mess up. I have to be a jerk off. Or you got the fat where you got toxic relationships. You got these people that's dragging along just because you hung out with them, in high school, that you gotta continue to hang out with them, or you got this girlfriend or boyfriend that don't want to grow and develop with you. Also, you got fat as far as family members that people that's trying to convince you to think like they think, and if you don't think like they think, then there's an issue, which is crazy. We're all supposed to be independent thinkers, and we should be able to still be a family without all thinking alike. We should all have our independent mind, and then you got the people that's really the haters, and a lot of people are associated with haters, and that's counterproductive. The vibration that you're going off, they're trying to stop and block your vibration. So you got to be able to cut them off and not let them, and not telegraph your punch. So I'll let you go in on that, and then I'll go in and let's. I gave you 3-4 different angles right there. Bam.
Yeah. Thanks, Brett. Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Yeah, you can go. What you just said is correct about what FAT stands for and represents. Family members, the negativity, the toxicity, even the excess of the gluttony of fat too. So
Right.
I do like all those answers. I'd say it's hard to rank them all. Which one's the most important. I think they're probably all equally important. It just depends on the listener or your life, and because everyone runs through negativity at some point in time, and and the fat as per se to lower vibrations. So I'd say the best way to cut it is just try to eliminate it, find out what the source is, if it's the relationships, if it's the access, or if it's just all mental. Like just try to figure out how to cut it off from your life and switch those negativity or those negative thoughts to positive thoughts, and just cut it away. Cut the fat away. So. I think a lot of people deal with in their daily lives, probably the relationship one, if I had to guess the most, like just people who are all around them, people who deal with those people in their lives that try to bring them down. So it's always good to try to distance yourself from
But
those types of people.
this is the angle that I want you to address. Not saying this that that list, but our show is a self help show, and an overachiever show. So what we're trying to get out of the show, to meet, we're trying to get out is how to stop the fear, what causes the fear, how can I overcome the fear of cutting that fat away. Now I identified a lot of the fat, and we could identify a couple more things that we could metaphorically use as fat, but let's dig into how to identify the fat, how to identify the fear, and overcome the fear.
Okay, so I guess you have to identify it and be the first thing, right? You have to
Right.
figure out what's going on in your life and trying to figure out, okay, why am I afraid to let go? And a lot of times it probably has to do with that history, right? Just bad habits, of trying to do things that you've been doing for a long time, or you have friends who haven't grown, and you might have to distance yourself from them. It's these little things that you have to start paying attention to be able to identify it. Um, and unless you identify
What are some of those things?
it just depends on the individual. Like could be people. People like you said, having the bad habits of, I don't know, spending too much money. Or when you should be trying to invest into your future, or like you said, people like to party, stuff like that. It's all these little things that aren't on the journey to a better life. That's why I consider everything that's the fat. You have to identify what your weaknesses are, and try to cut it off, because each person's different. It's hard to justify one thing where it's all of them.
So how do you overcome the fear?
It's probably the hardest challenge. You have to break the loops. Once you identify it, you have to kind of figure out, set a game plan, a plan to be able to, okay, what am I going to do to be able to beat this? And it is scary for most people, especially people who are going through the changes. I'd say is it's probably the most frightening thing. But you just have to always have that courage and that strength inside of you and your heart to be able to beat it. And I do think a lot of people actually fall to the wayside on this step here, because sometimes it'll take them a couple of tries to get over these loops and this fat, as you per se, to be able to beat it. It's all about strength and courage and trying to change your mindset.
Well, this is the reason why I metaphorically named the show "Cut the Fat," because I want to use the metaphor of, and I want y'all to think of it as cellulite, like, oh, almost like being overweight, like like myself. It's more of a comfort thing. It's more of a getting in a routine and not being able to break out of that routine, and not being able to vary from that routine, whether it's being busy, whether it's being whatever, being comfortable. Being comfortable is the key word. Um, which I'm so great at, that again, like a high school friend pointed out, is actually the opposite of what I am as far as eating and stuff like that. So eating is a whole different thing. Like I said, we eat emotionally. That's a whole another thing. But I could tie the two together. It's like, it's crazy. So I'm great on one thing, and I'm terrible on the other. But as far as cutting the fat, as far as metaphorically, if it doesn't work in my system, um, I have no qualms about letting that person go, or going in a different direction, or going to the most efficient way to get my goals accomplished. And the reason why I'm like that is because I already look at it like this. I already have enough against me to, and I don't want to put any inflictions that I'm putting on myself. I don't want to self-inflict any obstacles in my way. So stuff I have control of, personal life, team members, family members that I want to include in my cipher, I try to keep that clean because I'm trying to be as efficient as possible. So I think a lot of people that's opposite than me, they get comfortable with that person being around, whether it's a relationship, whether it's friendships, whether it's employers, teammates, and it's just that comfort that they're addicted to. That the lack of understanding the unknown. So with me, on the other hand, I guess I'm a self-starter and I'm an overachiever, so I have no fear about doing it myself. I have no fear about being just being an enlightened being. I understand that I it's me anyway, so I don't need. I never was interdependent on somebody else. Look at the shows, Power of Ownership. I take ownership of my life. I don't depend on anybody else. But that's the mind frame that you got to be in, as far as the taking your control of your own life.
Yeah, I'd say always. Yeah, right. You have to always be in control.
Right, but most people don't understand that. Most people are interdependent. Even they don't understand the complexity of what this is. So yes, we are communal beings. We thrive on society, thrive on tribes. We're tribal, so on and so forth. That's fine, but you got to be able to control. You got to be able to be the puppet master of your own life. You can't be the puppet.
Yeah, that's like a chessboard too.
Yeah, so you got to be able to. Okay, I got to be able to use my vibe as my tribe. I can't just settle for the tribe that was given to me. Going back to the show we had with one of your comrades, shuffle the deck. So you got to be able to shuffle the deck and be in control of the cards that you want to play. So same thing with this. Is like, I don't get comfortable with this. All right, I'm gonna try. And I used to, maybe like, in high school, maybe in my early years a little bit, and I just learned, like, I tried to make people out of something. I tried to bring people to my level, and I learned this right out of high school. A person told me this. One of my ex-business partners in my first business told me this. He's like, yeah, BC, this is your problem right here. He's like, man, you expect everybody to be you, and everybody's not you. And and that stuck with me. And that was true. Like, I always thought people could do the same thing I could do, which is false. Mm-hmm. Everybody's not in the same mind frame as me. Everybody, especially if it's not your business. You can't expect somebody to go hard for your business and your vision like you do for your own business. It's impossible. They want to do this minuscule job from A to B and get paid for it. And that's what it is. You can't expect them to have the same passion as you for your business.
Yeah. And that's why it's important, if you do have your own business, to pick and choose, right? Because it's called a company for a reason. That is your company, you know.
Right. That is the company that you choose.
Yeah, the
You know,
company you associate yourself with.
right. So you can't be afraid to cut the fat. Can't be afraid to cut. If somebody's, as from an an employer standpoint, I will let somebody go ASAP that's not cutting the mustard. It's just I'm an excellent trainer because that's what I've done for a living for 6 years at Gallery Furniture. So I'm a training snob. So I'm gonna give you the best training, but at the same time, I'm gonna hold you accountable. That's my operating style. So pay attention. This is what I'm. I could go over it a few times, but eventually you're gonna have to get A, B, and C right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna hold you accountable for A, B, and C, or I'm gonna find somebody else that can do A, B, and C exactly like I want it.
Yeah, and that's how it should be, though.
Right. Well, the new way of doing things is crazy. It's like there is no training. The millennials, especially you guys, is just all right. I got it, and they kind of do it their own way, and it be wrong. And well, I didn't know. Well, that's because you didn't take the time to get trained, and whoever the company didn't train you properly. So it's everybody's kind of winging it, and they're hoping that to find somebody that automatically good, like coming off the street good, which is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid. Like how. At what point in my life was I taught or trained to do this job? Automatically good at it? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So a lot of you companies, a lot of CEOs that's listening to us, you need to reevaluate your game plan. How are you going to have somebody fresh off the street and automatically be good at what you need for him to do? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. One of my family members, he works at Apple in California, and he deals with a lot of recruiting companies, hiring process and everything. And he says a lot of times the problem, especially from overseas, is they have a little bit different style of training their people, right? But they train them like they're robots, and so like they don't have any critical thinking skills when they come out of and look for a job over on this side of the world, And so he said that's a big problem with especially a lot of younger people, is like they have no critical thinking skills. They're all just programmed a certain way.
Right. Well, what I've noticed is like, even in like the restaurant business, they don't like, they just, hey, here goes your uniform. Here goes, this is your key code. This is how you punch in and out. Have at it. I've been to like jobs like that in the past. Like, all right, here's your your tools. Have at it.
Mm-hmm.
How could you hold somebody accountable for making mistakes that you never thought? Is it supposed to be common sense? Don't forget, common sense ain't all that common. What makes sense to you, that person might not make sense to you. So getting off of the training, because we want to keep the show condensed. I won't make this other point. Let's go back to more on the personal side. Get away from work. I had this lecture earlier this year called it's called The Billionaire Mind State. And part one was epigenetics. And I talked about, in that particular lecture, how letting go of toxic relationship. Everybody had the toxic past. Everybody had toxic childhood traumas and all that stuff. And how to let those things go in order to heal. And I just wanted to bridge the gap on that as well, because the Christ consciousness talks about you're not going to be able to have any attachments to follow the Christ consciousness. So all these attachments that you think are there, it's actually stuck. Is hard. Taken away from your growth.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's in the book of Matthew is what you're quoting. He says, the man asked Jesus, not to get religious, but this is just how it is. That man asked Jesus, he's like, what do I have to do to follow you? He's like, follow the 10 Commandments. And we were talking a little bit about that off screen. And then he keeps on asking. He's like, hey, what else do you, and that's where it gets to your point. It's like you have to let everything, all your possessions go
Right.
and follow me. And
Follow.
that's a metaphor though in itself too, because it's not saying you have to like literally give away all your possessions. You just don't have to care for them if you have them or not.
Right. It's all material,
Hmm.
even with people, it's I understand you once you get into enlightenment, you understand that there's no such thing as separation. Duality is an illusion, so once you understand that, once you get into the enlightened state, you have no qualms, you have no reservations about letting things go. You understand that it's just an illusion. It's been an illusion the whole time. You are your mother. You are your all of that was part of you for your growth, for your path. So you understand that, and you start focusing on the flesh, and you get into what we really are, which is energy. Then you can start understanding the true essence of things, and you have no qualms about you know letting that go. Just think about it. All right, we lose millions of cells every day. I could do my hand like this, and cells will just drop off.
Hmm.
Does that paralyze me? Like, oh my god, I lost this 1,000 cells just now. Think about every time I lost some cells, I lost some, that I sat there and it paralyzed me for a moment. The cells doesn't make up me. That's just it's part of me. But at the same time, I can let those go and I can still grow.
Yep.
So that's the same thing we would do with relationships and individuals. Yeah, at that particular time, yeah, those relationships were part of me. They were there for my growth. But if they're healthy cells, they're going to stick with me. They're going to be meant to stick with me. You see what I'm saying? If they're dead cells, you gotta let dead cells go. You gotta exfoliate.
Yeah, you gotta cut the fat.
You gotta cut. You gotta exfoliate those dead cells, and it gives room. It makes room for the new cells to be healthier and strive and go on so on and so forth. So that's how we got to look at it. We're not just the flesh. We're made up of trillions of cells, trillions of moments, trillions of relationships, trillions of attributes that's going to come in angles that's going to come in and out your particular path. You got to choose the healthy ones in order to become a healthy being.
Hmm.
The dead ones you got to let go.
Yeah, you don't want to hold them because it's just toxic.
Right. I mean, didn't the Europeans try to hold on to dead cells for, during the plague ages, when it was during the dark ages?
Mhm.
They didn't bathe until like they were 18, 19 years old. See how that happened? They almost died off.
Yeah, and that's why you get the definition of piss poor because they all have
Right.
to piss in like the same area.
Right. I mean, they had a whole bunch of issues, but that was their belief that if you bathe, then you invite the sickness in. It was actually the opposite. They would grow hair all over their back and stuff like that to try to prevent stuff from coming in, and it was actually the opposite. You need to get rid of the dead cells and get rid of all the nasty gunk in order to build your immune system from within.
Hmm. Yeah, it's true.
So it is what it is, man. So we're not gonna keep you too long. We're at the 29 mark right there. Let's go ahead. Um, I wanted to keep it short and sweet. Don't be afraid to cut the fat, man. Exfoliate. Keep the meat, get rid of the fat. Relationship wise, business wise, employee wise, employer. Even if your employer is toxic, he's yelling at you, you're not growing, you're at a dead end job. Don't be afraid to find something else. Take the knowledge that you acquired there and start your own.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid, man. I wanted to real quick before I get that adjust with the fear. Again, fear is false evidence appearing real. So as long as you got fear, you're going to be paralyzed.
Yeah.
You know,
And you gotta turn that fear into positivity and action. Turn
right,
to peace and love, getting all the toxicity out of your system.
right. So people that's afraid to make moves and make moves, you're over analysis paralysis guys. Those people, you're if self-inflicting your own pain. You're self-inflicting your own stagnation. So don't be afraid You know, just you know, if you believe in a higher power, why are you afraid anyway? I don't get it. You know, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. You know, so like Will Smith said, why are you so afraid of death? Why are you so afraid of failure? If you know, a lot of people, it's crazy. Oh, I'm saved. I'm saved. Okay, well, all right, make this move. You're saved. You're safe, right? You know, you're saved, right?
Yeah.
Let's make this move. You know, so it is what it is, man. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Go back through it. If you like our content, hit the cash app, man. The power of ownership. Stephen C. 1234 is Stephen's cash app. Don't forget, now's the time. www.hocmortgage.com. If you want to go ahead and get a house, record low rates right now. Now's the time. Investment properties, second home. I've been doing them all. So, www.billionaireloanofficer.com. You want to book me for consultation? This is crazy. I thought about this the other day. Not to be long-winded, but we used to fight for education. A lot of people died to get educated, and wars were fought for books and stuff back in in some of the ancient times. Now I can't. I got to push this on you.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the sign of the times? Is this where our society's become, where we're in like a slot?
That's why there has to be a reset. But not to continue, but yeah, dude, they used to the Dark Ages, you know, they had the schools, you know, but people, like you said, they fought for those positions, you know.
People have died for knowledge, and people don't even want to spend a couple of bucks to better themselves. What's going on? Spend a couple of bucks to get training on it. I mean, this is good. You're going to make this back. It's a tax write-off. Why we want everything that's given to you? You just want money deposited in your account, right? You know, like, how is that going to be? Half of the fun, half of the experience. Don't forget, you're the Most High here, experiencing himself from different angles. Half of the experience is building it up.
Yeah, the work.
You just want to get the fruit. You're missing the experience by growing your own food. That's another thing we've been cut, from, instead of planting a tree, watering it from that seed and nurturing it, talking to it, and then eating the fruit, which is a whole nother. Don't forget, it's SEX, secret energy exchange, sacred energy exchange. So everything we do, we have a connection to it. Don't you think the connection would be deeper if I planted that tree from a seed, and then watch the fruit grow, then eat the fruit? Wouldn't it be a better? See, a lot of us, we just want somebody to hand us the Super Bowl trophy. Would you appreciate it? Oh, I got a Stanley Cup here, and I've never played hockey a day in my life.
Yeah, it's like have you ever played Minecraft or seen the game Minecraft? It's like a game where you actually have to cut down the tree to build a house, to collect the water to be able to build your world. It's pretty interesting.
Right. But I guess the nowadays generation, they want fruit with no labor. It's crazy, and that's why nothing's appreciated. Gimme. No, no pride in the work. The actual pride in what we're here for is the work.
Yeah.
Call me 832-775-8357. Call me 24/7 at Billionaire Loan Officer. Add me on social media on Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. You can find Stephen Contreras at Stephen_Contreras_90. And before we get out of here, tell them, you got anything coming up?
Yeah, I have a health lunch event on September 10th in the Woodlands, Texas. It's $70 for a ticket. It's about immunotherapy and how to protect your immune system in times of crisis. We'll have 3 guest speakers, and the meal comes with the tickets. It's a really good restaurant called Marigo's. September 10th. At 11:30 in the Woodlands, Texas, Marigo's restaurant. And just one more final thought. Everyone be safe with these 2 huge storms coming and hitting the Gulf states. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think we've ever had 2 storms hit roughly in the same area of 1,000 miles. So it's going to be pretty intense, and everyone stay safe and healthy out there.
Gotcha. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Don't forget that God is a verb, and personal responsibility is your only savior. With that, we're gonna say peace.